Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a foundational concept of wealth building. We're talking about exactly how your investment profits are handled in the real world. Whether it's your very first share of stock, some crypto, or even real estate, figuring out how this money gets taxed is, honestly, absolutely fascinating. So let's jump right into the material. Let's kick things off with a question that gets right at the heart of what we call the psychological illusion of profit. Think about it. If you put $1,000 into the stock market, right, and you watch it grow into $1,500, did you actually make $500? Well, not exactly. I mean, I know it definitely feels like you're $500 richer, and hey, it's always thrilling to see those green numbers pop up. But here's the catch. Before you can actually take that money out and spend it, someone else wants a piece of the pie. The government treats investment profit as a form of income, and, as you might guess, they're always eager to grab their slice. So that brings us to the core subject of our explainer today, capital gains tax. Put simply, this is just a tax on the profit you make when you sell something for more than you originally paid for it. Seriously, it's the single most important factor in determining how much of your hard-earned profit you actually get to keep. And look, this tax isn't just a headache for Wall Street day traders. It applies to almost anything of value. We're talking stocks and ETFs, cryptocurrency, real estate, business assets, even valuable collectibles. Basically, the rule of thumb is, if you can sell it for a profit, capital gains tax is probably going to be in the picture. Moving right into Section 1, the profit illusion. Let's say you buy a stock for $100 and it goes up to $150. You feel $50 richer, right? I mean, your net worth technically did increase, but because you haven't sold the stock yet, that gain is what we call unrealized. You still maintain full control of the asset, and honestly, the beautiful part here is that you do not owe a single penny in tax yet. The government doesn't tax paper profits. So, the absolute crucial point to remember is this. The act of selling is the trigger event. It's when you actually hit that sell button and lock in the profit that it transforms into a realized gain. And once you realize that profit, boom, that is exactly when you invite the tax collector into the equation, and capital gains tax might suddenly apply. All right, let's jump into Section 2, finding your cost basis. Now, your cost basis is simply what you originally paid for an asset. But importantly, that includes any fees you paid to buy it too. Pinning this number down is absolutely key because it's how we calculate what the government actually cares about. Remember, they only tax the profit that sits above the starting line. So let's see this math in action. It's pretty straightforward. Say your original purchase, your cost basis, was $200. Later on, your selling price is $260. The government takes that $260, subtracts your $200 cost basis, and that leaves a taxable capital gain of exactly $60. That $60? That's the only part that's actually subject to the tax. Next up, Section 3, short-term versus long-term. Here is where things get really interesting because the rules change based entirely on your timeline. Short-term capital gains apply to assets held for 1 year or less, and these are taxed at irregular, usually higher income tax rates. But long-term capital gains? Those are for assets held for more than 1 year, and they are taxed at special, significantly lower rates. It's basically a system specifically designed to reward your patience and discourage fast-paced speculation. Which brings us to Section 4, 2 investors, 2 outcomes. Let's look at a real-world scenario. We've got Maria and Daniel, and they both buy the exact same stock for $500. They both watch it go up, and they both make a gross profit of $200. But here's the difference. Maria decides to sell after just 3 months, so she's facing a 20% short-term tax rate. Daniel, on the other hand, waits for 2 whole years, unlocking a sweet 10% long-term tax rate. Let's see what actually happens to their cash. Because Maria sold short-term, she takes a 20% tax hit on her $200 profit. That's $40 right to the government. So in the end, out of her $200 profit, she only gets to keep $160. But look at Daniel. Because he waited over a year, his tax burden is literally chopped in half, down to just $20. He keeps $180 of the exact same investment. Same profit, same starting investment. But Daniel kept more money simply by being patient and waiting. Now for the most important part, Section 5, how to keep more. All right, here is your ultimate tax strategy blueprint. Step 1, do not sell. Seriously, maintain your unrealized gains and allow that money to experience compounding growth entirely without that annoying tax drag. Step 2, if you absolutely must sell, hold for the long term. Just wait over that 1-year mark to unlock those lower rates. Honestly, this is exactly how so many wealthy investors grow their portfolios on paper while completely minimizing their tax hits. So, what are the traps we really need to watch out for? Let's quickly run through some common mistakes just so you don't get an expensive surprise come tax season. First up, thinking gains are taxed immediately when the value goes up. Remember, it's only when you actually sell. Next is just ignoring taxes entirely when mapping out your investment profits. You can't do that. Third, forgetting that your holding time drastically changes the tax rate you're going to pay. And finally, believing investing profits are just free, tax-free money. Nope, they are absolutely taxable income once realized. Dodging these assumptions is pretty much essential for accurate financial planning. At the end of the day, it all really comes down to this fundamental mantra. In investing, you don't just ask how much you made, you ask how much you keep after taxes. Capital gains tax is the exact mechanism separating those two numbers. So take a look at your own portfolio right now. Are you a long-term investor or do you prefer short-term trades? Really think about how your holding times are impacting the actual wealth you're building behind the scenes. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and we will catch you in the next one.